Prisons are dark and dangerous places, and there are some very harsh realities that go on within the prison walls as well as the jails. And one of them is how inmates try to smuggle contraband inside body cavities. Just recently, here in Polk County, an inmate tried to smuggle a very large thermos up his rectum, and the body scanner machine got a hold of it. And the sheriff here, Grady Judd, described it best. He actually had it go up the exit ramp, and it was a very large thermos, quote, unquote. He ended up having to go to the hospital, and he had to have a specialist come in and remove the thermos. Let me tell you, folks, there are all kinds of contraband that come in through body cavities into the jails and prisons. The most common are drugs: pills, heroin, fentanyl, cocaine, marijuana, put into balloons and inserted up the rectum, put into balloons and inserted up the vagina. These are the most common. But the most unbelievable items that have been found by body scan machines inside inmates attempting to bring them into the jail or prison. And when I say this, let me explain one thing. At the jail, they're usually newly arrested folks coming in and trying to smuggle something into the jail, knowing they're going to jail, and they smuggle something up their rectum or any body cavity. In prisons, we have visitors who try to smuggle things in their body cavities, and we've had inmates that go and work on outside work squads try to smuggle things in their body cavities, as well as outside work squads around the prison area picking up things that are dropped off on the outer perimeter. Here's some of the things that all these people I just mentioned have tried to smuggle into a jail or prison in a body cavity. Guns, small caliber weapons. Sharps, edged weapons, yes, wrapped up with tape and inserted in a body cavity. Cell phones, from miniature cell phones to regular size cell phones, folks. I just don't believe it, how it could be done, but it's done, and more often than you think. Pliers, tools, hacksaws, all kinds of things of this nature are smuggled in. Now, for any agency that doesn't have a body scan machine, they're in a lot of trouble, because a lot of contraband is going to slip through and get inside. Because even with the squat and cough technique, these inmates are able to withhold this stuff inside their body. It gets up in their, even in their stomachs when they swallow it. So you really have to have that body scan machine to catch all this contraband. What happens to a lot of these inmates smuggling these crazy items inside their body? Well, on the drug part, many of the items burst inside their body and they die of an overdose. On the weapons and sharps and knives and thermos bottle, as the example I gave earlier, they die, many of them, because they can't get it back out. Have no idea how this guy thought he was going to get this thermos bottle out of his rectum before, without a doctor. He would have died, so he should be glad he got arrested and brought into prison. A lot of, now he may have had some mental illness, I don't know, but if he didn't, he's just plain, you know, devilish, crazy as a rabid rat. But it's just unbelievable how these contraband items can be inserted in body cavities. Men and women, folks. We have found small caliber weapons inside men's rectums. We have found small caliber weapons inside women's vaginas. And it's just amazing to me that some of these people have been visitors as well. How in the world would you want to do that for anybody? I don't care if they're your husband, bestest boyfriend, #1 girlfriend, your favorite inmate. Why would you even risk, #1, going to prison or jail for smuggling it in, and #2, the dangers of smuggling it in? It's just beyond me what goes on in the mind of a person who uses their body cavities to smuggle contraband in. To me, you're risking your life, you're risking your freedom, and you are making a dangerous environment for someone to get killed with that weapon you smuggled in, with that knife you smuggled in, with that cell phone you smuggled in. Oh yeah, somebody by now is going, what do you mean cell phones don't kill? Cell phones kill when they're smuggled in prison, because they're used to set up drug deals and more contraband deals, and they're used to set up hits on the street to have people killed. They're used to set up escape plans when people get killed during escapes in many occasions. They're used to put gang hits on inmates, gang hits on officers when they go home. It's all dangerous contraband, and I think a lot of the world doesn't know all the true darkness. Matter of fact, I know the world doesn't know, because it's kind of like sentence them to prison, put them away, and we don't care what happens over there. And the officers that are hired to control these crazy people doing these crazy things are placed in danger every day. I want you to thank a correctional officer today for saving a life when they find these types of contraband, for saving inmates' lives in the line of duty when they try to commit suicide, and so forth. And I do want to say a couple of things about the other methods of bringing contraband in. Here's a picture of 2 officers that intercepted a drone or some drones before they got all this contraband into the prison here in Florida. About $300,000 worth of contraband. This is another way it comes in, and these guys are heroes. Good job, guys. And then here's the old-fashioned way that I always tell people. Yeah, they have drones now, they have technology, they have all this stuff, but they still use the good old football or basketball. Fill a football full of drugs, fill a basketball full of drugs, drive by the prison, get in the wood line, and throw it over the fence. Someone will be there waiting, and an inmate grabs that football or basketball, and before you know it, those drugs are dispersed and hidden so quickly that it's going to be hard to find all of it before it's consumed by the inmate population. Wanted to talk a little about contraband today and the crazy ways that it gets into the prison. Of course, corrupt staff is another way, and that's a whole nother story and a whole nother video. Thank you very much for watching Gary York, True Prison Stories. Please subscribe.